Sunday. It is March the 3rd, 2024. It is 4:17 p.m. in the afternoon. And I wanted to talk about a few things today. Two or three things. I'm just kind of a little bit going off my memory and a little bit kind of going off notes that I made. The first thing I wanted to go over with you today is an experience that I had earlier and talk about a theory that I've developed based on a lucid dream that I had. And I want to talk about this because so many people out there, they always are asking about, can I shift from a lucid dream? Can I astral project from a lucid dream? And I want to go over a theory that I'm beginning to develop. And again, this is as a result of a dream that I had recently. But first, let me talk about an experience that I had this morning. It was very interesting. So it was the usual thing. I'm relaxing in the morning. It was pretty early. Gosh, it was probably about 6 or 7 in the morning, maybe 6 o'clock in the morning, which is pretty early for me on a Sunday. And so I'm laying down. By the way, just so you know, for those of you who are interested, there were no storm sounds. I didn't have that on my and my iPad. Didn't have that. Didn't have any sounds on at all. And I've been going on this kick where I've just been using silence, really. And let me tell you guys, interesting, this is a tip. I'm finding it more and more beneficial and more productive for me when I have experiences to do it in complete silence. Now, I know this goes against everything that you hear in the subreddit and probably out there in general. People talk about all the binaural stuff and all the other things now. And I've talked about this before, but I'm becoming more convinced, at least for me, that silence works the best. Just complete silence and you're laying down. And I know it forces you to kind of, I guess, deal with the things that are going on inside of you. I think that that's kind of what the fear is. It's like the sounds that are out there, binaural beats or whatever, they distract you, they distract your mind so that the thoughts that you don't want popping up, they don't necessarily have that opportunity maybe to pop up. But silence, it's just you and you're just there. And without going too much into this is what I've been doing. And it's been working better for me, actually. So I was laying on my right side and I was just relaxing. And at some point, I felt myself go into that middle space. Now, that middle space that I talk about is the space between being asleep and awake. And for me, it's the best platform to either astral project or shift. And for those of you who don't normally listen to this channel, I do have the ability to do both. I've been astral projecting since I was 9 years old, and I began shifting after an accident I had in 2015 that almost cost me my life. So I'm lying there on my right side. I go into my middle space, and I feel myself rolling off the bed. And now this is kind of old school. I mean, I have different ways of transitioning. Sometimes I feel myself rising up. Sometimes I feel myself turning in different directions. With this, I felt myself going off the bed. It's an old school thing. It happens pretty consistently. And it was happening especially in the beginning when I began shifting. I went over the side of the bed and then I stopped and I was hovering. Now, when I say I went over the side of the bed, I want to make sure I'm clear, especially for people who may just be listening to me for the first time. I'm not astral projecting at this point. At least that's not how I feel. And I want to make sure that I let you know that. It feels like my entire body is going over the side of my bed. It does not feel like I've separated my astral body from my physical body. Okay? So I feel myself go over the bed and I'm hovering there. And I'm not hovering, I'm hovering on my back, laying down flat on my back. And then I feel this acceleration. Now, I haven't felt that in a long time, guys. It's been a while since I felt that acceleration, like I'm kind of like on a roller coaster. And man, I was moving. And it was pretty cool. I love traveling like that. I love that sense of speed. And I was just forward motion, darkness, and it's always exciting for me. Um, Obviously, because I don't know where I'm going. It's a random thing. I know there are a lot of people out there who shift, who are like, I want to go to the MCU, or I want to go to Harry Potter. What I enjoy actually the most is really kind of not knowing exactly where I'm going. It's like an adventure for me. So I'm moving, and then suddenly I feel my legs go up and I'm climbing, accelerating upwards, just moving really fast. Again, I haven't felt that feeling of my legs going up in a very long time. And at some point, I started to slow down. And then the darkness began to lift just as I was coming on to my feet in this sort of park setting. Now, I have a tendency to go to a lot of parks. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's the way my mind is perceiving things. But in this particular park area, I arrived in a sort of a patio area, and there were tables and there were people there. Now, these people and my surroundings looked very normal. I want to stress this. This was so when I actually finished this experience, this was so interesting. I just sat there thinking about this. It was very normal. In fact, I remember there was a trash can nearby, and I think I sort of balanced myself on it a little bit. But the people were kind of looking at me. I remember they just looked like normal people you would see in the 3D world. Everything looked very normal. There wasn't anything weird or anything. It just looked like I was in the 3D world, and it was any. By the way, for those of you who wonder what it feels like, I've heard this whole thing. What does it feel like to what does it feel like to shift? Well, for me, it is everything, anything and everything you feel that reality is made up of. That's what I feel when I'm in these places. This is not a dream. This is real. Like, I can feel the trash can. I've smelled things before when I've gone to different realities. Um, this is as real as the 3D world, and it is amazing and strange, and anyway. So I'm standing there, and all these people are just kind of looking up at me. And I'm trying to figure out, are they wondering where I came from, or have I been standing there for a while and they're just kind of staring at me, because I'm staring at them, like looking a little bit confused, like what's going on. So then I kind of walk over to another area. I think people just kind of got back into their own conversation. And as I walked over, I don't think there was a child that was with me, but I could hear the voice of a child, which I'm beginning to think maybe was my guide who was explaining things to me. And the guide, or whoever this child was, explained to me that I should not go to a specific area. Now, this was the most interesting thing. The voice said, don't go to, this area. And I wasn't sure what area it was, but it said that if you go to this area, you will shrink and you will grow wings. And I thought, like a fairy. I'm like, really? Like a fairy? are there fairies here? And so the moment I began wondering that, that's when I came back. It was a very brief experience, guys. I came back and I opened my eyes. I lost my grip on whatever this reality was, but it was interesting. I didn't see any fairies, if you're wondering, but it was quite fascinating, mostly because of the contrast between things looking normal and then this thing about there being fairies. So fascinating experience. Now, I also wanted to talk about a lucid dream that I had that was kind of focused on time travel. And it I've had dreams before about time travel, especially when I was younger, because time travel has always fascinated me. One of my first experiences shifting was kind of a time travel thing, and that's a very old video. And I posted it's been some years since I posted that particular video. But I've always had this fascination with time travel, going back through time. And so there was this moment where I was putting together, or I was assembling this machine, but at the same time, there was another pathway in my mind. And this is what I wanted to talk to you about, because there were two things going on at the same time. There was the lucid dream part that was happening, and then there was the other half of my mind, which was actually in an experience. And in that experience, it was pure consciousness. Now, I could see a tunnel, and it was vast, and it was expansive. And I was moving through that tunnel, pure consciousness. And I knew that if I got through the tunnel, that I would be able to go back through time. There would be that destination. I could choose a destination to go to. On the other end of this, again, I was assembling a time machine, and this was the lucid dream part, and putting it together. Now, there was a distinct difference between the lucid dream and the experience of being pure consciousness and going through this huge tunnel. To help you picture it better, I want you to imagine a split screen. On one side of the screen, on let's say the right side of the screen, you are assembling the time machine, right? You are creating this time machine. And on the left side of the split screen, you are going through this huge tunnel, and it's through pure consciousness that you're doing this. This, for me, it felt as if, and I'm just saying through feeling, it felt as if it was happening at the same time. And I could tell the difference. And I'm wondering, is there a way for those of you who are struggling to kind of maybe, I don't know, learn from this situation? Lucid dreams do have a certain feeling. And when I am having an experience like astral projection or shifting, that is another experience. Now, it's difficult to define and say totally specifically what that difference is. To me, it's all about instincts. That's always what it is for me, what it feels like. Like I know the difference, and because I guess I've been doing it for so long. But what I'm wondering is, can you utilize this with your own experiences? Like, let's say when you're in a lucid dream, you are having a lucid dream, and then if you want to shift or if you want to astral project, you do whatever method or technique that gets you there, whether it be a doorway or whatever. And then this is what I hear so much. People will say, well, I tried it and it didn't work. And I sit and think, I wonder, because I obviously I can't be there to make the judgment on whether it worked or not. The only thing I can do is depend on that person and the person saying what happened. But I always wonder if what actually happened is they were able to make the transition, but it wasn't what they thought it was, or it wasn't what they heard or I'm sorry, saw posted in the subreddit, things like that. So they were just like, no, it's not. And I talked about this before, where people might mistake and what they're having. They may be thinking it's a lucid dream, but it's an actual experience. They've actually shifted. And then they go, no, it hasn't happened. And then they end it. And they come back. And it's like, well, you just achieved what you wanted to achieve. And because it wasn't what you thought it was going to be, you ended it. And now you're going on the subreddit or whatever, and you're asking people advice. Well, this is what happened. And, I just think I went from the lucid dream into another dream. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Anyway, it's kind of frustrating because I do want others to experience this, right? I mean, it's an amazing thing out there, guys. It is amazing. What I experience and when I go to these different places, it is amazing. And I would love for you guys to be able to experience these things as well. But I really want you to get out of your own way and stop putting yourself in a box and defining everything and saying, it's supposed to be this way, but it wasn't exactly that way. Okay, you know what? It might be different. It might not be exactly how all these folks are saying. It may be different. It may be unique to you. So, as I always say, open your mind. Really, truly open your mind. Anyway, video is going on way too long. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. And until next time, take care.